Zombies is far from dead, and here's why. Now, I know we're just coming off the end of probably one of the worst years for Call of Duty Zombies ever, especially seeing as it was a Treyarch product. But despite a 26-month wait, there are quite a few exciting things on the horizon, which is definitely going to keep Zombies in a great place. And it all starts with an update today on the Microsoft and Activision Blizzard acquisition, where Phil Spencer confirmed today that once this deal goes through, Call of Duty will be available on Game Pass. Now, we've all been talking about it for a while and assumed that would be the case, but today we have the absolute confirmation that Call of Duty will be coming to Game Pass, which means all new CODs and old CODs will be available, which is the best news ever, and to me is one of the biggest and most standout things about Microsoft acquiring Activision. Now, what does this mean for Call of Duty Zombies? Well, it means that millions of Xbox players will be downloading these old Call of Duties. There are no doubts about that, which means we could see huge player counts for these old classic Call of Duty games, and especially when it comes to Zombies. Like, if we look at what happened back in the day where we had backwards compatibility for classic CODs like Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1, there were an insane number of players that came back to those games and have breathed new life into them. And during this time period of there being no new Zombies, millions of gamers are going to be jumping into the old Zombies, and by definition that's going to make these older games a little bit more relevant again. People are going to be talking about these games, they're going to be actively playing them, and that is such a great and healthy thing to me, to revisit the nostalgia of these old games and to just have them being a little bit more active is obviously a great thing. Furthermore, Microsoft also confirmed today that they are committed to making the same version of Call of Duty available on PlayStation on the same day the game launches elsewhere. So in terms of Call of Duty being exclusive to Xbox, it doesn't sound like that's happening. They're going to have the same approach that they've done with Minecraft since Mojang joined Microsoft in 2014, which sounds like there could be opportunities in the future for them to have these games on more platforms than what we currently have. Now, way before this deal ever existed, I went and rebought pretty much every COD franchise game on Steam, so I've actually bought these games multiple times, but the fact that the entire COD franchise will be on Game Pass is so good considering how expensive some of these games still are on Steam. And it's also amazing that this deal is not going to affect anyone that plays Call of Duty on PlayStation. It's just those that are on Xbox will be able to get the game through Game Pass and play all of the old games, which is obviously going to be so good for the longevity of Zombies with all that nostalgia that goes along with it. Now, another reason why Zombies is far from dead is that we know that Kevin Drew, now Associate Director of Design at Treyarch, and throughout all of Cold War's cycle, he's been very active over on his Twitter account, sharing information and insight to the community about the development of the game. And very interestingly, this tweet here on June 22nd, shouting out the Shinonuma team, confirms that he, along with the wider Zombies team, were not actually responsible for the development of that map and pretty much the development of Vanguard Zombies. So whilst we can all look in disappointment at what Vanguard Zombies was, at least this gives us some slight confirmation that that was not created by the main Treyarch Zombies team. That's further spearheaded from a tweet on the 4th of June where he said, "We have big plans for Zombies and want to grow the team to realize them. There are several design positions open at a range of experience level, so it's a great time to apply if you're interested." This is further spearheaded by the Treyarch Twitter account on the 3rd of August where they're hiring to help craft new and exciting Zombies experiences. Now, if there was any doubt that Zombies was not going to be returning, then this pretty much says it all. And if that still wasn't enough, in Treyarch's final blog post talking about the Archon, they mentioned as this chapter of the Dark Eva story ends, the Zombies team is stepping back into the shadows for now, which again means Zombies is not dead, it is definitely coming back. Treyarch are hiring for a lot of very big positions such as Zombies gameplay engineer, Zombies game designer. And what this all means is that the Treyarch Zombies team are going to have a lot of fresh new faces on board to bring some new ideas, some fresh innovation to the game mode that should ultimately end up with a Zombies experience which is going to be very fresh and to a very high standard. Despite Treyarch only having between 12 and 18 months to develop Cold War, that game ended up being really good for the amount of time that they had. had, and especially when it comes to zombies, you can't really fault it. It was pretty darn good. So for them to have like double the amount of time for this next game, bringing on so many fresh new people to the team, this is going to be so refreshing for not only the team, but also for the end product as well. Zombies should be really good now that we're having this much time spent on it, which is arguably the longest time that Treyarch has ever had on zombies since like the Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3 era. We just really need to treat Vanguard Zombies as an anomaly, something which I'm sure Treyarch aren't happy to have their names associated with, especially considering how little time they had to develop on it. They were severely crunched on it. I really think that it's going to be a very different scenario when it comes to Treyarch's next game. It is also near impossible for Treyarch to ignore the criticism and feedback they got from the last two games. They made a ton of changes to the game mode, and with this much time ahead of them, there's a lot of time for them to reflect on what worked, what didn't, in order to shape what the future zombies mode will look like. Now, for those out there saying that zombies is dead, well, here's the thing, right? I've been making videos and playing zombies since the very beginning of World at War, and I have gone through multiple content droughts where there are no Treyarch zombies for years and years. And you know what? Every time we come back stronger. There has never been a case where we've waited years for a Treyarch Zombies game to return, and when it does, it's just not received well. Every time Treyarch comes back after a few years of hiatus, we always have such a hype reaction and atmosphere to it, and it just excites people in a way that doesn't happen all the time, and that's quite a special moment. The issue is at this current time, it is very hard to imagine that Zombies is actually going to recover from this, but of course it will. I know at this very moment in time, it feels like all hope is lost, but Zombies is not dead, and just one bad iteration of it in Vanguard is not going to be what ends Call of Duty Zombies forever. Zombies is one of the main pillars of Call of Duty, and you can't really have Call of Duty without thinking about there being zombies in it. Whilst we have a serious amount of time to wait until Zombies comes back, it obviously will, and in the meantime, we have a huge library of old Call of Duty Zombies games that we can go and play, we can revisit, we can have a lot of fun in them still. And if you've played way too much Zombies over the years and you're starting to get a bit fatigued or bored of it, you don't have to play Zombies. You can go and play some other games, take a break from it, and come back to Zombies when you want that itch to be scratched. And it's always so good playing back some of these nostalgic maps. And then if you play COD on PC, then you're very likely to have Black Ops 3, where we have the Steam Workshop, where you can play what will be an infinite amount of custom Zombies maps. Not every custom Zombies map uploaded to the workshop is a banger, but there has been some incredible ones over the last few years that hold up the same quality as a Zombies map that Treyarch could create, and just shows how amazingly talented the Zombies community is. It feels really prevalent right now that everyone's seeing Zombies in this doom and gloom state that it's never going to recover, but I wanted to shine a few positive things on it that we've got to look forward to, especially with Xbox Game Pass and the Microsoft acquisition. And I mean, how can you not be excited for the future of Zombies knowing that Richtofen was the guy behind it all in Cold War? Like, that face reveal was one of the most exciting revelations we've had in a long time for Zombies, and I can't wait to see what this man gets up to in the next game. But I hope you guys found some comfort from this video, a little bit of positivity, and the hope that in 2 and a bit years time, Treyarch are going to come back with the best iteration of Zombies that we've ever had. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.